good morning science class. I'm Miss Singh, this is Mr. Hassan, Miss Preena, and Miss Kim. And today we're going to be talking about deforestation. So on our agenda, we're going to be covering a mini activity, play a video, talk about deforestation, and do a group activity. So can anyone tell me, what do you think deforestation means?
Cutting down forests.
Yeah?
Or what?
Damaging the health of forests?
Yeah, anything else that comes to mind when you hear the word deforestation?
Cutting.
Okay,
It's done by humans.
what's that?
Large scale done by humans.
Okay.
Making paper?
Making paper, yeah.
Industry.
Paper industry is a huge one. Okay, so I'd like you to get into your groups and on the post-it note that's provided, discuss 3 negative effects of deforestation. Now that you have a sense of what deforestation is, try to think of some of those negative effects. For example,
What? I said it, I wrote it before you said it.
Increased carbon dioxide in the air.
Yeah.
You want one per post-it?
sure. It doesn't have to be one post.
Oh.
Actually, I'll just take it up with you guys. So I'll give you a couple seconds more to think of some negative effects. And if you're ready, I'll just write down some of them. If you could just shout them out.
Increase of CO2.
Yeah.
Loss of biodiversity.
Okay.
Habitat destruction.
Yeah, habitat destruction. Anything else?
Possibly creating some kind of imbalance in the lumber industry, depending on if people aren't, dealing with, I don't know if there's controls within the industry itself, I'm not sure. But
Balance in lumber industry.
can create new deserts.
Create new deserts.
Disrupt the water cycle.
Okay.
Loss of transpiration.
Migration patterns, different animals, migration patterns. and that kind of
Migration?
stuff. Habitat, I guess it falls under habitat.
Yeah, because I know a lot of animal life will probably have to find new places to live if you're cutting down their natural habitat. So as you can see, there are quite a few negative effects of deforestation. I'm going to play a video that's called The Importance of Trees to get a better sense of what we're talking about here. And while the video plays, this is an example of an SDSC issue.
While watching this video, you can take some notes, so you can use it during your activity. You have some points to think about. So, people, what do you think? Our whole planet, it's not our own house, own city, or our country. The whole planet is turning to dust because of our activities. What do you think? What are the reasons for deforestation? Why we are cutting our trees? Why we need to cut? What are the causes? What do you think? So can you define deforestation precisely in one word or one sentence? How can we say deforestation? Okay. You can see here, deforestation simply is mass cutting down of or removal of all or most of trees or the huge forest. If you completely cut down, this is deforestation. What are the effects we have seen here? Like we see some of the effects of deforestations are maybe like storms or some kind of floods all around the places, unexpected environmental results. So who are responsible? What are the effects of deforestations? We will discuss in this activity today. And how can we reduce? What can we do to reduce deforestation? How can we stop this deforestation? What is government doing about it? What we can do as human beings? So let's see what are the causes for the deforestation, why we need to cut down. We need supplies, we need food to fulfill our requirements for the whole population. So deforestation is the result of agriculture or cattle grazing, constructing dams. We are not, like individually you may not be thinking that you are responsible for deforestation, but government is taking some actions to construct huge dams. And logging, for example, you need wood to construct your houses. So indirectly we are all responsible for deforestation. You are not personally, you are not taking an axe, going to the forest and cutting down a tree, but you are responsible. What do you think the most important thing you are contributing towards the deforestation? Right now you are using certain things without which you can't survive, you can't study, that is contributing to deforestation. Any idea?
Paper.
Exactly. Paper, without which you can't study, you can't learn. For your purposes we need paper. So how can you reduce that use of paper? How can you stop deforestation? Can you completely give up using paper?
Electronics.
Like nowadays we are doing a lot of universities and schools are adopting this policy, no paper policy, to reduce the use of paper. So we can do, on an individual basis, you can reduce the use of paper and you can stop deforestation. So what are the environmental effects of deforestation? Is it a global effect? They are not like localized effects. You can see the global warming, the final effect of deforestation, like habitat loss, as you have been discussing, habitat loss or a lot of that loss of diversity, and soil erosion, flooding, drought, different types of natural disasters can affect because of the deforestation. Now, Preena will take up from here. What are the economic implications of deforestation?
Hello everyone. So along with a lot of environmental implications, we also have some economic and social implications. One of the most important economic implications is because of globalization. And I know over here you talked about it, that to create more space, we need more land. And to have more land, we need to cut down trees. So globalization, because of globalization, trees are being cut down, and because of that, we are getting depleted of a lot of trees. Also, because population is ever increasing right now, the resources need to be met. So raw products need to be brought in to meet the needs of the growing population. So that's why trees are cut, and businesses are increasingly cutting down trees to meet the needs of the growing population, such as timber is one of them. So early in the days, I remember my grandfather telling me that once they bought the furniture home, the furniture was such that it stayed until until really long time. But nowadays we bring in furniture, and after a few years we just change it because we don't like it, or we want to buy a new one. So that's basically globalization is causing a lot of this problem nowadays. Because of increase in supply, the businesses have to provide the products. So as a result, poverty-stricken countries are providing raw materials to the developed countries, and therefore they're becoming not quite rich, whereas the developed countries are becoming richer and the poor countries are becoming poorer because they're not getting enough money for their raw materials as well. There are also a lot of social effects because there are a lot of tribes around the world that live in woods, forests, and because we are increasingly cutting down forests, a lot of these tribes are getting homeless. And because of that, they're losing their homes. So not only are the animals affected by deforestation, but it's also human tribes that are affected by it. Along with that, a lot of recreational activities that were, that used to be not a luxurious thing, but that used to be pleasant for everyone. Going into the woods now is a luxury. So you actually go for treetop walking. That's like a luxury now, but back in the days, it just used to be everyone could do that because it was all over the place. So a lot of social implications as well. So now the question is, what are the possible solutions? Well, there's a lot that we can do, but there's also a lot of stuff that the community should do as a whole and the government should do in order to bring about changes. One of the things that government can regulate on is to reduce wasteful land practices and to maximize the use of present land. Another thing that the government can do is make sure that the business and corporations are making good use of their resources. They can make citizens aware, so maybe pamphlets or advertisements on the subways or on bus stops to make people aware that global warming is actually a fact and deforestation is contributing to it. There are some groups that are actually doing a lot of work, such as World Wildlife Fund, there's Global Forest Watch Canada. They're the groups who are advocating for trees, and they are coming forward to help raise awareness about it. So what can we as individuals do apart from the government and the community? Well, we can definitely recycle our products. So if we choose to recycle our products, that could make a difference. Believe it or not, a lot of us think that it won't, but it does make a difference. We can use less tree products, so by that we mean rather than using paper that's made up of, that's just a good paper, you can use recycled paper. I know it's not the best looking one, but you can use that. Afforestation, so if you have your neighbors or yourself cutting a tree in the backyard, just make sure that you plant two if you're cutting one. Other than that, awareness. Just make sure that if your neighbor is doing so, make them aware. If your friends are doing so, their parents, just make them aware, and that could definitely make a difference. So now we have a mini activity that Kim will help you with.
Okay, so as science students and global citizens, we have the obligation to make everyone aware of the impact of deforestation, right? So right now we'll go in groups, I'll put you in groups of 3, and you will express the concerns that are about deforestation, and you will brainstorm and discuss solutions that could stop or reduce it. And also in your chart paper that's already provided, you can add the causes and the impacts, like impacts on the economy, impacts on the tribes, impact on the environment, or anything else that you want to add. And there are possible methods that I mentioned on the paper, so take a look at your paper. You can do it with pictures, you can create a poster or a banner, you can write your ideas in a logical order, plot your ideas on a mind map, draw the concept of the ideas, make a song, create a commercial, make a skit, or whatever you can in 10 minutes. Okay? You can start.
Okay, well, let's brainstorm ideas. How are you using it? I play in a band. Okay. So we could do a commercial. Maybe not commercial, but that's kind of news cast. It's just there. Yes. These are good. Deforestation is worse.
That advocates for, so they, this is, and in return, they're.
Or we could do like a poster.
Themselves, we could put their,
Well,
some ways to foresee this, years of easy creating. Challenges like that.
Yeah.
So Preena, where else is the solution to stop deforestation?
Or something.
And then how
Okay.
the
No.
express it.
Yeah, instead of great.
Not in front of the class. That's true.
You're making a poster?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna start out to our green.
nice.
So we're gonna do the poem then?
Okay.
Sure. We could right here and then like right there. Yeah, that looks really kind of check it.
Alright, so,
Okay, so, what I think too.
okay.
It's really short. We don't have that.
The goal of
Yeah, you can.
the is
Oh, yeah, okay.
let's not cut them down at all.
It doesn't have to check. Raise
Or
awareness.
it's 575.
Okay.
Because we kind of need to get some.
You're doing this. You don't like to do it.
Thanks.
They're on the right track too.
Good
Good students, they're really good
And then we
students.
can have to
Thank
Oh,
you.
that'd be amazing. Yeah, I'll work on it.
And so you want to write about
I'll work
how
on
we're
five
gonna do
goals.
this?
Yeah.
You
We
want
have
to
a
write that in
green
the goal as well?
You guys have green?
No, unfortunately.
Just use the.
You guys need green?
That would be
Here,
amazing.
do you have
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
plan on doing it by, by,
Big industry. Big industry. Stakeholders.
Some kind of like action.
Let's tell the world to corporations tell all of us.
just nice little.
I don't remember what.
Species variety of ideas here will partner in cooperation.
Yeah.
Love your tree.
Yeah. Yeah, but should we like some whereby their funding we're just guessing their funding.
Okay, green five, so they
Because
can.
actually marketing, because they get marketing, they get to put green on there.
This is part of corporation.
To mutually, yeah,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
What was
Instead
that?
of what?
corporations to mutually.
I just want a sentence. Instead of cutting, mutually benefit.
Yes.
Mutual.
Division of micro-raffles. I wrote it against them. Use this and bring it.
There it is. Nice. She's a useful.
Exactly. Oh, yes. She both love it.
Impact. Why don't we write the impacts in the litigation? Yes, you guys do that, so that's easy.
So just put the details here. So, yeah, some details. Company pays us, corporation, that's I don't need a name, just pick a name. Tree farm. I think it's a tree farm. Easy to write. Trees, yes.
I think you have about 3 minutes.
Yeah, go with that.
Wow, that's nice. Creative. You're right.
TFC.
Yeah, that's good.
I like it, yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Good details.
You drop
The size operations belongs to
Yeah.
a TFC.
That's a target economics.
To plant new trees in their name. In
It's a
guys, in 2 minutes you can post it up, and then you can get a chance to look into each other's poster.
Intern.
And maybe suggest them with some ideas if you have any.
Yes. Marketing.
Sean did it. Very good. I just finished it.
And goodwill.
Collaborative.
Yeah.
They're not gonna write a sonnet. You will water.
Good, good.
Okay, sounds good if you're ready to do it.
We need one. They just put on some migration.
Just to bring, before you can try to see if you like to
1 minute.
all corporations on this side and prevent them from even ever becoming the deforestation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think
The effect or the effect of us.
Okay, so if you wanna just discuss, just explain it to other.
We found that an effective mode of communicating the idea of the beauty of trees would be a haiku.
Sean, could you? But make sure that they put up their stuff first and then. Sorry. Just to make sure that everybody's listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
We felt that a haiku would be a beautiful way to send the world a message about how beautiful trees are.
So First Nations of
so beautiful.
So beautiful.
Are you gonna read to us?
Oh yes, trees are beautiful. We should cut less of them down instead of cutting line.
So,
And then we had, in the roots of the tree, we just had all of the effects of deforestation. So this could be used as a poster as well for raising awareness.
and what are those impacts, do you remember?
Desertification, loss of biodiversity, soil erosion, reduced CO2, they're all in there. So it'll encourage the viewers to come close and take a look.
Guys, you have the opportunity to go ahead and take a look at them if you would like.
So you can come now or at the end of the class if you like.
Yes,
Yeah.
bask in it. It's beauty. Try to climb it.
So instead of listening to
Transpiration.
So never forget it.
Okay, next group.
we thought we'd come up with a business plan, a new company called Trees for Change.
No pollen. Change.
So the goal is going to be to raise awareness in an attempt to stop or reduce deforestation. This is how it's going to work. The business will partner with corporations for a mutually beneficial endeavor. So corporations will pay our company, TFC, to plant new trees in the company's name. And in return, the company gets marketing we provide marketing for them and advertisements so that they can sell themselves as green in case they don't have any other way, since this is a very popular tag for companies these days. And the long-term goal in this regard would be hopefully to mitigate the effects of deforestation listed in the roots of the tree next to us. And by this, what I think we were trying to get at is, the more people we get on our side, that means there'll be less people on the other side of the coin, and hopefully everybody.
So that's a good initiative for everybody to benefit. And as you can see, collaboration is also needed to solve this problem. Good. So I'll pass it on to Ms. Preena.
It should be a thing.
Okay,
We're gonna use your tree as our logo. That's okay.
so guys, really good job done on this. So basically the reason we asked you to do this is because you will be asked to make your own project. So that's called Student Informed Research Project, which we talked about last class, and we'll be talking about it more in the coming classes. So your homework will be to get into groups of 3 And you can choose any STSC issue. You all know what STSC issue is. We talked about it last class. So you can choose any STSC issue, and then just like what you did over here, you can choose the STSC issue. You can do some research on it, secondary research. You can find papers that talk about it. You can use internet resources. Just make sure that they're credible. Wikipedia, not really suggested. And then you can come up with action plans on what you can do to raise awareness, or if you want to make a business plan, then that's great too. So you have to do similar stuff, but on a much larger scale. So now Hassan can add on to that.
Yeah, any ST issues you can express here, as we have discussed different concepts we have in our discourse, like this poster, like how can you describe this one? Is it expressing an ST issue, or is it like a research informed project? What do you think it is? This one, and there's a difference between these two. This one we can take it as expressing an STSC issue. It's a quick visual, you can see. So you have to come up with your project as one of these issues, like expressing STSC issue. Whatever you choose your issue, it has to be like this, one poster or one kind of handout or one kind of banner you prepare. And for your research informed action, you can do like either primary research or secondary research. What is the difference between primary and secondary? Primary is like when you do it really by doing your lab experiments, or you do interview people or survey, or you can do your lab experiments, real experiments. So you start with your secondary experiments, doing your research online, gather information, put up all your stuff. That's your homework. So that's it for today. Have a nice weekend. Finish your homework. See you next week.
Be good.